Hi everyone, welcome back to another live stream. Chloe, good to see you. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little update video here I put together. I went and found a few clips of things that Amberlynn's been up to in the last 3 months. If you haven't been paying attention, because I know I haven't, this might help you catch up on what's kind of going on. Now, if you have any other details to feel free to fill us in, because yeah, there's definitely a lot to take in. But most of it that we're going to be looking at today is Amberlynn has a temper and she likes to take it out on her partners. And so we got a message here from someone who was talking to Salami and got some information out. So we'll see how that was leaked and how that unfolded. Okay, and then there was something going on with Rarity as well that old Tommy Salami released. It might have kind of been said, you know, not meaning to be serious or to lead to any conclusions, but also seemed pretty leading into a pretty bleak conclusion. But we'll look at that later too. What was the other? Oh yes, and then we're gonna take a look at some messages that Lex had with Amberlynn and shared with Jordy, and then Jordy shares some more messages that Jordy had with Lex. So and some of that's about this the latest mystery person in Amber's life, being Danielle, which was like, I guess, someone that she was seeing when she started talking to Lex, and Abby was the other girl. Gorl. Alright, so the first thing that happened here was back in May when this person decided to reach out to a channel about some excuse me, some messages between Tommy and this person, and it was mostly stuff about each other. They were talking and stuff, but there was some stuff that was shared about Amberlynn, so we'll take a look at that.
I'm just sharing what I've been sent. So I was messaged by this person who I'm calling A. A was DMing Emily from February 2025 to March 2025. On the morning of May 25th, 2025,
Okay, so this reaction channel is actually called Rachel Reacts.
Received this DM. Hello there, I have some tea for you. I typed out this entire message, then thought you wouldn't care, then I think maybe she will, so I'm just going to tell you, and if you want to participate, that's fine. If not, that's okay too. Redacted section, which has very personal details inside it. Anyway, I wanted to get her, Emily, to open up and spill the dirt, so I didn't want to share because I felt no reason to, but if she went back to ALR, then this info should be out there. A reaches out to Emily and says something like, I hope your health is okay, wishing you all the best. Amberlynn has taken a toll on me. I stayed with her because you're human and I was hurting. When someone is your only emotional anchor, even when it's hurting you, it can feel safer than staring into the unknown of loneliness.
Okay, so right there, Tommy kind of says that they were with Amberlynn just because they were lonely. Which I think kind of happened with Beck too, right? And Destiny, really, because Destiny's fiance at the time was living far away. Wifey? Anyway, let's move on.
It's survival mode. That part of me is scared, worn down and clinging to anything that looks like connection, even if it's costing me pieces of myself. I stayed because I lost Colleen, my safe place, my soft landing, and when you lose something so precious, your heart tries to fill that void with anything that feels like it might offer relief, even if deep down you know it isn't the same. Then A says something like, I don't know how you handled being with Amber, basically like, I can't believe you put up with her. Then A says, I have a confession. I do not like ALR. I didn't want to offend you. I saw you in her her videos and felt you weren't being treated fairly, but honestly, I hope you didn't get treated too badly by her. I don't care about her looks, size, I judge her on her actions. And then something very, very personal there as well. And then you can see here, Emily has replied, she is as manipulative as people say she is, if not more. She doesn't see it either. She never sees herself as in the wrong. It's always everyone else's fault. People making fun of her size or Beck talking about the wiping thing has nothing to do with the actual terrible things she does, which takes away from that. Basically, it's just A saying something awful happened to me too. Amber's behaviour reminds me of someone I know, basically. In the personal story that A shared, Emily says, wow, that story hits home. I would always cringe when she did something nice for me because I knew it would be held over my head or used against me. I could say a lot of stories of what I went through, but so many people have already said that they hate me and don't care what I have to say. A
I'm feeling like if Tommy had anything to say, it would be similar to what Destiny and Beck have both said. Same story. And what we know of Wifey from Lex, because I think they had once chatted or something. So they have some, Lex had told us some stories about Wifey and Amberlynn too. Yeah, so it sounds about the same.
She knew how her haters are and she threw you to the wall. So awful. Emily then says, everyone says I knew all about her. I knew who she was, but very vaguely. I had no idea about the Reddit or the farms. I wish I would have gotten a heads up. And then we have this from A, who says, you need to stop posting on Insta and instead make a YouTube video series and get that coin back from that amazing concert you bought for her, in my opinion. Emily says, bro, those tickets cost a small fortune and she got me Tupperware for my birthday. And then A says a bunch of stuff and then I think Girl World is ready for Emily's side, which I think is true. Emily says she's very stingy. That is one thing I'll say Alexis was actually right about. She spends so much money on useless shit. She bought like 400 highlighters when she was at my house and left them all here, but because she was into word searches and using different highlighters. A says, that makes my poor ass so sad. Haha, such a waste. Then on the 17th, which is the following day, Emily says, I would get so salty about that shit because she's asked me to drive her to the casino in Milwaukee after a 12-hour shift or running around for random errands and wouldn't offer a cent in gas money. So that's the chats they were having from February 24th to March 17th. Following the conversations I've shown, on March 18th, A asks Emily this. I know this is personal, but I'm curious. Did she physically you at all or try? If that's too nosy or too hard for you to talk about, no worries, you don't owe me anything. I hope the answer is no. I hope she didn't hurt you more than what I imagined she did emotionally. At this point, allegedly, according to A, Emily turns on vanish mode on Instagram. Now, if you don't know what vanish mode is, I've never used it, but this is what it is. It's basically where you drag down in the chat and then you can turn on this thing called vanish mode where once you've sent a message, it will disappear after the person closes the chat. When you put this setting on, you see this pop up. So this is what it looks like. You see this message and you see this option to press learn more. This is going to be relevant in a minute, okay? So when A allegedly asked this question of Emily, which you can see here that I've just read out loud, A claims that Emily put on vanish mode and then sent this message. Here is a picture of the phone with the message. The message says, I don't really want to disclose too much info. Let's just say it was more than just words.
Oh no, so Tommy got tricked just like Sala did with Kay Bella. Thought that they could hide it, but the other person had a phone so they could just record the screen. So I don't think Tommy wanted us to know about this, but now we know.
That sounds like a yes.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it does. It does sound like that's what was going on. Which is unfortunate, but probably for the best that they didn't stay together then, if it was that kind of relationship. But that's just how Amberlynn does it, though. She likes to be in control, and if she's not in control, then she's not happy.
I'm having like, oh, regret, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned this, maybe I shouldn't have made this video. I think it's going to be one of those where I just post it anyway and see what happens.
Well, yeah, that's basically what I'm doing too. I just wanted to see what the drama was recently with Amberlynn and Tommy and dropping more bombs like that, where Amberlynn's not really learning from her behavior, but continuing it when she gets in difficult situations. Oh well. Maybe someday she'll learn. Just not today. Yeah, so then after this, Rachel posted that they just realized that they didn't want to have this video on their channel anymore, so they took it down. And I guess it was also drama that the video brought them drama as well. So, but whatever. It's info that probably should be out there, just so she knows, or anyone watching wanting to be with Amberlynn eventually, someone sees it. Because you got to know the warning signs, right? You can't, if you don't know them, then you can't look out for them. So, yeah, her whole relationship with Tommy was just as toxic as we thought it was, even though she was pretending everything was okay. That's unfortunate.
Emily is another person in a long line of Amber's victims, then she deserves to have her story told if that's what she wants.
All right, on to the next subject. This one here is about Lex and kind of outing Amberlynn on a possible current relationship with Danielle, who I guess is married. I don't know. I didn't read the messages in full, so we're gonna read them here together.
Alexis posted a giant comment on one of Karina Kaboom's videos recently. If you click on this username, it takes you to her channel, so it's actually her.
Yeah, okay, and then I went to her channel because I was still subscribed to Lex, and this is what it brought me to. So, no content on the channel, and it says Amber killed me. Not great. Oh, she's a character. All right, so let's take a look at these messages that Lex put on that message on Karina, one of Karina's videos. I'm not sure which one. I didn't really go look for that. Okay, so Lex says, "I'll come out of retirement for a second to say this. She's with the Danielle girl. The girl who's had a partner for 10 plus years that she's been talking to on and off since October, November of 2023. She used to go insane over this girl. She mentioned recently that the friend in her life is not new, which technically she's not. Uh-oh. More than likely, oh, more than likely they've now met face to face and Amber will be spiraling soon. Then this girl goes back to her partner again. This Danielle girl also slept with a bunch of other, oh my gosh, she's giving out Danielle's info as well, people, and would tell ALR, and ALR would flip out when they were talking. When it didn't work out, she went to Erica and then Emily. Erica, which Valentine is Erica. Erica and Emily were side pieces, and ALR would have left either of them for Danielle at the drop of a dime. Oh my goodness. This will be the most wild roller coaster of a relationship she's had thus far. Mark my words. We will see less and less of her and far more public crash outs. Yikes. So that's what's going on there on that video. Okay, so then Lex adds, "One more thing since I'm here. I never bought Jordy's information. It was all publicly accessible information. I found his Insta, which led to his Facebook, which led to everything else. Neither her or I did anything with the information." Right, because she thought for a moment that Jordy was stalking her. Goodness. She's a little over the top, but we already know that. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
After that original message was put on Karina Kaboom's video, I reached out to Alexis and I had a little bit of like a background conversation. First of all, I didn't even know that was her when that at Amber killed me thing. I didn't know that. I didn't know if that was her or not. So I reached out and I said, "Hey, was that you?" And she said, "Yeah, that was me." And then I said,
All right, so let's check out these. So Jordy said, "How do you know she's talking to Danielle again?" And Lex says, "She never really stopped. She would only stop when Danielle would try to be a better person and partner and ghost Amberlynn. Every time Danielle would come back, Amberlynn would drop everything and respond to her. Huge fights would happen between her and Jade, her and Erica, her and Emily, and her and I over Danielle. Amberlynn was obsessed." Oh my. Okay. So then Jordy says, "I would have thought Emily was back in the picture. She randomly showed whoops. She randomly followed me on Instagram a couple weeks ago." Lex says, "Honestly, I'm not really sure. All I know is that Danielle popped in every other month or so, even when her and Amber weren't doing well, and agreed to stop talking. The last time I physically saw Amberlynn in person, even though Emily was there, Amber kind of pulled me off to the side and told me Danielle had messaged her on Instagram again." Oh my goodness. Okay. It just seems probably illogical that the girl right after Emily would be Danielle. However, Danielle will never really outright commit to Amberlynn, so Amberlynn can't even say she's actually in a relationship. They officially dated for a couple days in like early 2024, but that was extremely short-lived. Lex continues on saying, "I'm sure I'm going to get a text message soon." She's implying from Amberlynn. "Why are you talking about my precious Danielle?" And Jordy says, "I wonder if Danielle knows all about Girl World." And Lex says, "Oh, hell yeah, she does. She made Amberlynn promise to conceal her identity no matter what. She doesn't have a fancy job or anything. She just has a partner." uh, oh, and sleeps around. "And she would probably be pissed knowing that I even have been sent multiple of her pictures." Okay. Jordy says, "I wonder if the wife cares." And Lex says, "She does, but I think there's just a lot of history between them, and the partner definitely doesn't know everything that goes on behind the scenes because, from my understanding, Danielle lives with her. Also, I don't think they're legally married, but who even knows with how much this girl lied." Jordy says, "Oh, so she probably just likes to sneak around, but knows who butters her bread at the end of the day." Apparently the wife and Amberlynn. She keeps going back to Amberlynn. "I wonder if Amber buys her shit." Well, I was wondering the same thing. Oh, okay. We're spot on then. Lex says, "Exactly, Jordy, and she totally does. She would tell me that she would send her hundreds of dollars at a time because this girl said she would pay her back. But honestly, I don't think she ever did. And Amberlynn will just eat that loss because of how much she wants to be with Danielle." Holy crap, this is sad. "But she's totally fine." Uh-oh. She's totally fine. She promises. It's okay. All right, so then Jordy says, I bet Amber's only comfortable shifting gears from being taken care of to sending girls money, trying to play sugar mama because she knows she's locked down a full-time caregiver in her mom. Well, yeah, Mama Lynn's always close. Okay, so then Jordy says, I either forgot or didn't know Danielle was around when Jade was. Their relationship must have lacked something for Amber to have been looking for more excitement elsewhere. And then Lex says, meanwhile, her mother is living paycheck to paycheck, but devoting her entire life to Amberlynn. Sad. Yes, I was the first girl Amberlynn talked to after the relationship, but when I hesitated and told her that I didn't think things would work out, I wanted to work things out with an ex. Oh, plus I wanted to work things out with an ex. She went back to her Instagram DMs and found Danielle. Danielle initially Danielle initially was just to make Jade and I jealous, but then the relationship progressed. Not very far, but still progressed. Okay, so then Jordy says, well, it's mostly out of the mom. Well, it's mostly out of the mom feeling guilty, and I think she's smart enough to know she can exploit that and get what she wants, what she needs. Sorry. Honestly, the mom being her safety net after Jade left was the worst thing because if she wouldn't have had that option, she would have been forced to change. Well, yeah, true. Totally. But it is nice to see her living on her own without a live-in partner. So she probably has to take care of things she didn't before. Okay. So like excuse me, Lex says, I think their whole dynamic is kind of strange, but yes, I do believe the mother experiences a lot of guilt from Amberlynn's past and probably blames herself for the way Amberlynn is now in multiple ways. And then Lex continues saying, yes, I agree that Amberlynn needs to stop being enabled by partners and her mom, but that won't ever happen. Amberlynn's platform assures that she can and will always find someone to take care of her. Yikes. Jordy says, why did she feel she needed a side piece to make Jade jealous? And then Lex thinks it's pretty funny that Jade was hitting on Lex. She says because Jade was hitting on me. uh, and then Jordy says, "Girl, what?" Lex says she asked for my number on multiple occasions, and when I agreed to take Amberlynn to Oklahoma, oh no, Jade immediately was back in and wanted to take Amberlynn. Jade was so excited to meet me. Okay. So then Lex said, for a while, it was a plan that all three of us would go to help Amberlynn get settled in Oklahoma. I backed out because I was like, I'm not taking several days off work and doing all the traveling when Jade can just handle this herself. Okay. I'd only known Amberlynn like a month or so when all of this went down. I think I've mentioned this before, but ALR and Jade and I would sit on three-way calls pretty frequently, and I was freshly single and newly living alone in my own apartment, so I had the time and capacity to hang on the phone with them. And then Jordy says, well, now I want to help you move if Alexis is coming, lol. Lex says, basically, and we both planned to see/do things together, but I just could not take off of work for a week if Amberlynn didn't desperately need me. Just didn't make sense to me, but it was a fun idea to entertain. And then Lex says, Jade would always tell Amber I looked and sounded like her ex-fiancé. Oh no. So that was the appeal for Jade in regards to me. It's so funny. Lex is like, I'm so aware of the situation. Alright, so then Jordy says, do you think Jade might have been talking to anyone else while with Amber, or do you think she brought Danielle into the picture solely because she thought you guys were getting along on the FaceTime hangouts? And then Lex says, well, Amberlynn did tell me one time while Jade was in the shower, she went through her phone and saw Jade talking to her ex about having a threesome with her ex and her ex's new man, which is why Amberlynn was claiming she was poly for a while, so she could justify in her mind what Jade was doing behind her back. Whoa, okay, what? Let's read that one again. Amberlynn did tell me one time while Jade was in the shower, she went through her phone and saw Jade talking to her ex about having a threesome with her ex and her ex's new man, which is why Amber was claiming that she was poly for a while. Oh my god, that probably set something off. I wonder if that's why we got the crying fest of April 2022. That was bad. With the bottle of whiskey, the apple whiskey on the go. Jade made her a bowl of rice. Whoa, I wonder when that was. Crazy. Okay, so then Jordy says, Amber also teased that she and Jade had a guy friend toward the end of their relationship. Was there ever an in-person friend, or was that just you on FaceTime? And then Lex said, and Jade may have had some attraction to me. Still gotta elaborate on this one, I guess. But I know that at the end of the day, she said all but I know at the end of the day she said all that to make ALR jealous, because ALR was acting out when they broke up, but we're still living together. Jade actually was talking to a guy when they broke up, so maybe. Okay, so then this interaction ends here with Jordy saying, well, between the threesome texts and you on FaceTime, that was probably all she needed to feel compelled to dangle a side piece over Jade's head, which would be Danielle. Okay, so we have another batch of messages here.
Earlier today, actually 4 hours ago at 3:48 p.m., Amberlynn texted Alexis and said,
okay, yeah, so Amberlynn decided to, after she had posted that, after Lex had posted that under Karina's video, and after having this discussion with Jordy, Amberlynn messaged Lex, but didn't know, probably not, that Lex had already said all this to Jordy. So now Amberlynn comes in to talk to Lex about not telling people about Danielle, because as we saw in the messages, Danielle doesn't want to be known at all. And it's not because she's got a good job. Oh my god, or fancy? I can't remember what she said, but my goodness. Either way, it doesn't matter. Doesn't want to be known. That's fine. Okay, so, this is what Amberlynn sent to Lex. Please stop talking about me. I am not talking to Danielle. I am single and actually thriving this way. Oh, okay, good, good. I'm finally working on myself for me, and I haven't been happier. I hope that you find some peace and happiness as well one day if you haven't already. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then Lex sent back. You haven't been single for a millisecond, Amberlynn. I don't believe you. Which is like, yeah, totally understandable. Okay, so then Amberlynn said to Lex, "Then don't believe me. I don't care. I was single for 8 months. Oh, okay. I was single for 8 months of our year friendship. Was I talking to people? Oh my gosh, when people ask questions like that, it's so weird. Just say, I was talking to people. Was I talking to people? Sure, I was talking to people. But I'm not even talking to anyone now. Okay, so, okay. Um, says she's not talking to anyone now. And it feels freeing, honestly. And I don't watch reaction channels. You really think no one is going to send me screenshots of this? Well, they did. Which was the message on Karina's video. I didn't want to say anything, but with you spreading downright lies, I figured I'd clear the air personally instead of bringing it online. But it's apparent you are only wanting to believe. I think she missed a word there. It's apparent you are only wanting to believe what you want to believe instead of having a real conversation. Okay, there we go. I was just saying it too slow. Have a good day. I will not be responding. Amberlynn just shut the door in Lex's face. Okay, so then Lex says, "You were only single because you were waiting for someone to commit to you. Mostly Danielle, sometimes Erica, sometimes Abby. Emily was easy to get to commit. Emily was easy to get to commit to you because she was single and obviously had her special interests. LMAO. I think you forgot I was also involved in our friendship. I think you forgot I also remember. And if it's not Danielle, then it's definitely still Emily, which is embarrassing on both of your behalves. And I never said you and Danielle were officially together. I just expanded on why that could be a possibility." Oh, and then she's just mean to her, saying, "By the way, your content is getting boring. Can you have some kind of episode? Oh my god. Can you have some kind of episode to keep it interesting? Thanks." Yikes. Well, Lex is how Lex is, right? My goodness. All right. So we have another batch of messages here, too.
A follow up to these messages that were sent between Amberlynn and Alexis earlier today is that Alexis said that
Okay, yeah. So this is after all that has happened. Now Jordy's having another conversation with Lex. And Lex says, maybe she really is with Danielle and is trying to conceal the fact, or she's with Emily and Emily is pissed that a rumor about her being with Danielle is going around. Both reasons make sense to me. Or a third option, she actually is seeing someone new, even if they aren't official yet. Well, she said, Lex said in another message that it wasn't someone new, I think that's what the words were, that it wasn't someone new. That's why she thought maybe Danielle. Um, well, it's not on like Amberlynn to try to conceal someone's identity and try to lie and make up other stories to distract from the truth that everyone's finding. Like what happened with Wifey, and I think it happened with Becky as well, or Beck as well, because My goodness, like, yeah. Amberlynn was trying to keep all the partners offline, but it wasn't really working out. Uh, okay, so then Jordy said, yeah, either way, you ruffled feathers. Because Emily's the psycho jealous kind, right? Okay, Lex says her content was getting boring anyway. And yes, maybe not psycho, as in, like, we'll show up at your house. Not sure about that though. But definitely would be like online and not text Amberlynn for X amount of hours, which would obviously make Amberlynn upset. Yeah, that's done it a few times. She doesn't like it when you don't text back. Okay, so here's a comment that Emily made on Instagram post of someone saying, I think Emily's dog killed the cat still, referring to Rarity. So this is the post that supposedly is the reason why people think that maybe Amberlynn let Rarity out of the house on purpose, hoping that Rarity would come back, but needed an excuse to stay in Wisconsin a little longer. Okay, so this is what Emily posted. Don't blame my dog. He doesn't deserve that. He's the sweetest old boy and a big baby. Blame the person who, in quotations, lost her the day I told her to go back to Oklahoma. So they were having a fight that day and told her to go back to Oklahoma. And yeah, it's not like oh my god. Oh my god, it's Gracie. It's Gracie May all over again. Oh my goodness. If you don't know who Gracie May is, that's Destiny's cat when Amberlynn first moved in with Destiny. Destiny had a cat that was like 13 years old, and Amberlynn just decided that it'd be a good idea if they didn't have this cat so that Amberlynn could go get her own cat. And one night she was just so overwhelmed because she was watching the roommate's puppy and trying to train him at the same time. So her, I think, and letting the dog out at the same time as watching the cat, make sure that the cat Gracie May didn't get out. And then she said, all of a sudden, something came into the house, and it was like it was a frog, and she found it later. But oh my gosh! So then Gracie never came back. She said everything's okay. The dog's in the house. The cat's in the house. It's fine. And then the next day, she like catches herself saying that Gracie got out last night. She's like, not when I let her out because I caught her and catched her. uh, so yeah, we're not quite sure. We're thinking maybe that she let Gracie out because I don't know, she wanted her own cat. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. We don't know. They still blame it on the roommate, and Destiny swears it was the roommate, but Destiny wasn't there. Destiny was gone to work. She doesn't really know. So, seeing this from Emily is just like, whoa. I hope this isn't another Gracie May, and Gracie made Rarity. Oh, poor Rarity. She's such a loving cat too. Well, all we can do is hope that Rarity found a nice, warm, loving home. Because she really was really such a nice kitty. Okay, so then here's another. Yeah, okay, so this stuff's been going on in July. So all the stuff we talked about before with Lex and Danielle out in Danielle and stuff, that was all drama that happened in June. The first thing we talked about was stuff that happened in May where um, the messages were released between Emily and another person, indicating that maybe Amberlynn was aggressively fighting with Emily. Sometimes, so you just have to go back and check those out if you haven't checked them out already. I hope everyone's having a really good day. Jay, hey, good to see you. Miss Claus cat photo. I'm not quite sure what that was. I know there was one where Rarity was like at I don't know if it was Rarity, but it looked like Rarity was at one of the shelters, and that they might have found her, but we're not quite sure. It looked very similar to Rarity, but you only got like the one shot of it, so you couldn't tell like all the spots, but so that's unfortunate. But she just decided like, nope. Okay. Tommy shared it. I don't know where Tommy's I don't know if is Tommy's like Instagram open? I haven't checked it in a while. I just figured it was closed. Okay, so yeah, so that's the Rarity stuff's now been happening in July. And so now I think these two things come together where Lex sent a message to Jordy regarding Emily and Amberlynn's relationship being kind of like it was portrayed in the messages that we watched at the first, or saw and read at the first. Oh, Jay, I wonder which one. Hmm. I just hope that Rarity's okay out there, you know? Okay, so yeah, Lex sent this to Jordy while Jordy was live, I think. Okay, so Lex says, I just hopped into your live stream for a second, and now that it seems like Emily is starting to come out with the truth, I might as well come out and say this. Oh, great. Okay. Emily and Amberlynn both told me that Amberlynn started to get physical with Emily the last time I hung out with them. Okay. I believe that was our third time meeting up. So it would have been like while Amberlynn was with Emily in Wisconsin. Because that's where Lex lives as well. So when Amberlynn went to visit Emily, she was able to visit Lex as well. I keep saying that. All right. So Lex says Amberlynn cut Emily off before she could tell me the whole story, but Amberlynn did confirm that something related to physical happened on Amber's end and when she was in Wisconsin. I'm sure Emily will speak out about it if it gets brought into the public eye. I think I've mentioned this before, but Amberlynn did tell me during an argument that while she was here, Emily did tell her to have me come pick her up from Emily's house. So Emily got so upset with Amberlynn, said, just get Lex to get you because I don't want you here, basically. Yikes. Which is exactly what I told Amberlynn not to hit me up for if she came to Wisconsin. Yeah, she's like, well, I'm not going to save you from Tommy when this goes awry. You're just going to have to go back to Oklahoma. Which is what Amberlynn did, yeah. Oh my goodness, the drama. All right. So then this led to Amberlynn releasing this post because yeah, I got that message because Jordy shared it with everyone, right? So like Amberlynn would have saw it too, even though she doesn't watch reaction channels. She watches them. She knows she does. She just means she doesn't watch them on a regular basis. But she did say, well, people send me things, so that could be it too, that they're just sending her like screenshots. But okay, so Amberlynn wasn't too happy about this. I think this is what her post was about. Okay, so she says, I just now checked social media for the day. Haven't been on it as much lately, hence why I haven't been uploading. Which is funny because in the messages, Lex is like, yeah, Danielle doesn't want to be in the spotlight, so you'll see Amberlynn not be in the spotlight as much because if you note it, well, okay, that's what she said. That's what Lex said. But with Amberlynn, she really, her channel is like about her relationships almost too. It's about like other things, but a lot of it focused on her relationships. So when she doesn't have that, she's almost like lost on what she should be giving us content about, because we love seeing her out and about with other people, and she knows that. That's why it's nice to see her out hanging out with Mama Lynn or whoever else she's hanging out with. Um, so yeah, she might be a little lost here. That's or like too, because she can't tell us who she's in a relationship with, so she'll just avoid the uploading. Or she could just be taking a little break too, but uh, I feel like it's her uploading hasn't been as much lately. It's nice out. She could be taking some time off from uploading, but anyway, can't chalk it all up to her online drama and relationship issues. Maybe it's just she's just having a good time off the internet. It's nice to unplug every once in a while. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on here. Okay, so Amberlynn said, and I noticed lots of rumors being spread. Just so everyone knows, all of it is a lie. All of it. Everything everyone said. If it's bad and negative, it's a lie. It's not true. None of it. Okay, sorry. I added that one in. Okay, but everyone will believe what they want anyway. So this is the only time I'll ever speak on it. Okay. Putting my energy into a large group of people who only will ever see the bad in me is not something I want in my life anymore. Yeah, she kind of fed into a lot when she was doing those like crazy videos like mukbangs or just like trolling videos that she would make when she was living with Beck, or when she was living with Destiny at especially Destiny's mom's house. You know, the stairs and stuff. But she was just doing these like videos for attention. She says she doesn't want to do that anymore. Which could be another reason why she doesn't really know what to do. Like, you know, she just kind of like likes to play on what we know already. But it's nice to see her develop, but oh, someday. All right, so she says, I'm trying very hard to focus on my mental health and my sanity. Good, good, good. That is why I'm saying goodbye to constantly engaging in hate and saying bye to people in my life that destroy any piece of sanity I do have. Goodbye, Lex, is what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from Amberlynn. Okay, but if you're wanting drama and for me to speak on any rumors being spread about me, it isn't happening, okay? I'm in protection mode in more ways than one. She's protecting her love with Danielle, isn't she? No, I don't know what's going on, but it's just fun to speculate, right? Because whatever Amberlynn's doing, she's gonna do it anyway. And if she's in these toxic relationships, she's gonna be in them. You just kind of have to hope for the best, right? That she's not gonna be. That people are gonna be nice to each other, and it's just gonna be great. And yeah, it'd be nice to see her be productive with that, with a lot of her time, you know, but oh well. Okay, so she says, protect your mental health at all costs, even if it makes you look like the bad guy when you aren't. Okay. She's the victim and not the bad guy. Okay. Anyway, I'm going live for members only at 8:30. See you there. Okay. Well, I think I saw a post where she said she was going down from like an hour to, or from 2 hours doing her live streams, because I think she does like once a week, maybe twice. I can't remember. Live streams for members only. So you have to like pay a certain amount to get in there and talk with Amberlynn, talk in the chat and stuff, watch the live stream. But I noticed that when I was going for the screenshots, that Jordy actually like watches the live stream and then takes notes, and then will share them with us later. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's a good way of doing it and getting the info out there. But yeah, it seems like she was feeling a little discouraged from doing the live streams, so she was gonna go from 2 hours to 1 hour. Anyway, that was a lot. So yeah, those are the updates on Amberlynn, I guess, that I found. We're just gonna have to see what happens for the rest of the month now. I just haven't really been looking at stuff, and if you haven't either, and this is all new to you, then cool. Let me know if anything's really surprising, or you know, it's right on par with Amberlynn. Basically, like if you were listening to stuff in like 2023, then it's basically the same stuff now, except different people. The story's just a little different, but there's like kind of everything's the same. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I expected this fight to still go on with Emily, yeah, and Lex. Yep, they would still be, arguing somewhat. Amberlynn wanting to keep both of them very close, but yet far away. Uh, but I doubt that she really talks to Lex about stuff anymore for a while. That's probably why Lex is coming to the internet to let us know. But it's only just letting us know through like Jordy, and maybe there's other things that Lex is posting as well. But I'm not really feeling like going and checking all of Lex's social medias. So we'll just take our information from these posts and these messages. So yeah, that was fun. Thought I'd just kind of fill us all in on the drama, and then be back with another timeline video, hopefully tomorrow. I'd like to try to do the live streams every day. I was gonna do that the last couple days, and then I had to like move my garden in one day, 2 days. It was really quick, so I had to like build a whole new garden. That was fun. But anyway, it took up some time, so I didn't really have time to jump into the studio here. But I did want to get in and like share this all these screenshots that I found and stuff. Thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to go over, because I've been out of the loop. Maybe you've been out of the loop. Maybe you know and know more things. But if you do, yeah, let me know in the comments and stuff. This is fun. Thanks for hanging out. And yeah, I guess I will see you next time. Make sure to turn on your notifications, because I just gotta go live whenever I have the chance to go live. So, I'd love to see you in the chat. All right. Everyone have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.